Okay. Oh, there's Andy. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about Actively Learn. I've been trained on it once, and I have not really used it with students yet, okay? So now you know what I know about it, but I've been using it a lot when I've been developing my curriculum right now, and I really actually like it. I am a firm believer that this will make our life easier, and this will make grading easier as well. So that's why I agreed to do this training, because I actually think it's a really good program, okay? So what it is, okay, this is a wordy slide here. So I made it real simple. It's easy to find and import content, okay? So it's for all grade levels, but it has a very strong science focus. It allows differentiation and discussion. So as they read, they can highlight and then they can discuss as a class on the side. And then the other thing that I really like is that provides student data and accountability. So often, you know, in our school district, you don't know quite yet, but the parents will hit us up like, oh, why does my child only have a 93 or a 92 where they should really have 100? Well, you can show very easily, okay, well, they're phoning it in. On Actively Learn, they're taking 1 minute to read an article that should be taking about 15. So it's really nice for that standpoint that it is going to just allow us a lot of easy data to throw back at parents. Or for anything. I mean, for 8th grade, course selection for 9th grade, okay? All right, so we are going to now show you how to integrate this with your Schoology. So you're gonna have to open a new tab and go ahead and log into your Schoology. Once you get to Schoology, you wanna click on your sandbox. And in your left-hand panel, you'll scroll down to where you see the Actively Learn link on the left-hand side. Mo, do you have Schoology yet?
No, I had it at Carlisle, and of course, without a CV account, you can't.
Yeah. Okay, so you don't need to write everything down. I'll send you guys this PowerPoint too, so you can kind of walk through it. All right. Okay. All right. So on the left-hand side, you'll see this Actively Learn. You want to go ahead and click on that. And you're going to be following a few prompts. So it'll ask you to save your school. So you want to just go ahead and find your school. So find Cumberland Valley. You want to save it and then approve the linking, the syncing of the Schoology accounts. All right, so link the school, approve that they can sync with you. From there, my suggestion is to always log in that way then from here on out. So it would be easy to go to activelylearn.com, but I found that sometimes it will not sync correctly. So I will always now go into Schoology, click on the left-hand side for Actively Learn. If for any reason, whenever you try to log into Actively Learn and it says that it can't connect, you might be logged into a different Gmail account, or maybe your Google Drive, maybe a student was into a Google Drive, or you're one of your kids. You want to make sure that your Google Drive has your name in it as well. So if you ever have an issue with logging in. All right, is everyone have their syncs synced? Can I move? Nope, not yet. Okay. I know I go too fast, so that's why I will ask. So I'll just talk through these steps one more time. So go to your sandbox. Left-hand side on the panel, click on Actively Learn. Follow the prompts to sync your school. So select your school and hit save. And then approve. Actively Learn can sync with your Schoology. From there, you're going to, once it's synced, click on the left-hand side where it says Actively Learn, and a blue box will appear that says, do you want to open it? And you'll want to say yes. Gretchen, give me a thumbs up whenever, just because your camera's on, give me a thumbs up whenever you're synced, okay? And if you're struggling at any time, since it is a small group, you can always just leave your microphone on.
I am actually struggling. So
okay.
I am, too many things open. Okay, I'm in my sandbox. I had it opened.
Sure thing.
Trying to find out where it is now. I think I have too many things open. So I'm looking at where it says, you know, back to school, it has all these things already in it. I didn't put any kind of code or anything in.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you're in your sandbox and you want to scroll down to the left-hand side. Oh,
So I'm actually like in Actively Learn. It says Gretchen GP in the corner. It has back.
Oh, okay. So you're exactly where you should be. Okay.
Okay.
So once it looks like this, if you get this box and you click on it and you're in it and it has your name up here, you're synced and you're ready to go.
Okay.
So you're good?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. All right, go back to it. All right, now we're going to log in with Schoology, which it seems like everyone has already done. To log in, every time you want to log into your Schoology course, scroll down to where it says Actively Learn, and you want to click on the logo that I just showed you on my screen. That's the way you always want to log in. What do I like about this is that you can create assignments and it'll show it right up in your Schoology, and it can also be graded on your Schoology as well. So it will self-grade and go into your grade book. Okay, so that's a great feature. And not only is it, and I'll show you here in a second, it's not just reading, it's also videos. So this can replace completely Edpuzzle, and this can also completely replace the Feet Labs. If you ever use those virtuals, they can be graded in here too. All right, so here's the agenda for the meeting. We're going to show you how it helps with reading in depth. I will take you through a tour of being a student view, and then I'll show you how to build a class and search for content. Okay, so why Actively Learn was actually created is that they say that students don't know how to read for depth because they're just scrolling through Facebook feeds or whatever feeds they are looking at. So this allows you to activate thinking and read for depth. This also gives you all sorts of reading levels, so you can actually support that and differentiate in that way. And then it's not just one way that you give them the information, it's two ways that you give them the information, and they also show you what you know by discussion and by answering questions. Okay, this is just, it is what it is. Let me just show you now from a student perspective, okay? All right, so you want to be in your Actively Learn, and up in the right-hand corner by your name, you want to click on that, and you want to click to where it says Switch to Student Mode. Okay, so in your Actively Learn tab, top right-hand corner, it will say Gretchen Pugh or GPugh. You want to click on that, and then switch to Student Mode. All right, once you switch to Student Mode, you're going to join a class, and you're going to join my example class here. Join the class by clicking the plus sign on the left-hand side where it says Add a Class. You will then enter this code. It's PNCZV. PNCZV. And once you join my class, you'll see that I have 3 example assignments that we're going to go through today. There's one reading, there's one science simulation, and then there's one video, just so you can see what a student will perspective of this. All right, I'm going to minimize this for a second, and I'm going to check out who else joined my class.
Can I ask you a quick question while you're doing that?
Sure thing.
Will students need to join our class one time and then they're joined forever?
They will not need to join at all. They will be synced. You don't have it synced right now because you don't have anybody on your roster.
Yeah.
But they'll sync automatically just because you already synced your Schoology account. Now it'll be fine.
Cool.
Okay, so they'll already be in there. All right, so you can see from my point of view, when I click on roster, I can see easily that everyone's in except Mo. Sorry, Mo. You have a tab for assignments, gradebook, student data, and then class data. So it's very easy to use. All right, we are going to click on the assignments. Do farts carry germs? Well, it depends on whether you're wearing pants, okay? So you want to go ahead and click on that assignment. And I have fully customized this for science because when they had me do the training, they had me read and analyze a poem. And let me just tell you how long it's been since I read and analyzed a poem, okay? I was like out of my element. So this one is one I'm going to use actually to teach my kids how to use Actively Learn, just because it's, I don't know, it's kind of silly, but it also gets its point across why you should wear a mask. Okay. So it always starts with your direction. As you read the article below, think of how it relates to the importance of wearing masks. And you'll notice that you'll read a little bit and then you'll get to a question. All right, and there's 3 questions, and then at the end, you'll answer the big overwhelming question of why should we wear masks in public. Now, I know this is goofy, but we're actually going to go ahead and do the reading and answer the questions. Reason being, I can then show you data if you guys go ahead and walk through it, okay? So I'm just gonna give you a few minutes. I'll be quiet. And Bo, if you wanna Google the article so you know what we're talking about, you can definitely do that, okay?
Hey, Gina, all these things on the side, like the definition of flatus and the picture of the Petri dish,
Yeah.
is that part of Actively Learn, or did you?
Yes. Now I put that in. It's very easy. You just highlight and right click and you hit the word define and it puts it in for you.
So before we would assign a reading like this, it would be best for us to go through and think about things our kids wouldn't exactly know what they.
Yeah, whenever I read through this, that's what I did. But if you use any of the, now I imported this and I'll show you that later. I imported this from a website. So I went through, but anything, this completely works with CK12. All the CK12 readings are in it and they already have the information on the side.
Cool.
And they have the questions already in there too. Now
Oh,
I made these questions up just because I imported it, but CK12 is completely linked.
Cool, thanks.
All right, so the nice thing about this, instead of saying, tell me when everyone's done, tell me when everyone's done, from my screen, you can see it there, I can keep refreshing, and I know that 3 of you are on question number 3 and probably typing in your response, and I know that Andy finished, okay? So that's really nice in that it has a nice panel, and it's completely shows you exactly where everyone's at, and it also shows you right away how they did. So I know that everyone got all the 2 multiple choice questions right, and then I need to go in and grade the 3rd question. So it shows up as gray here, but I know just about everyone's finished. Okay, I'm gonna close that.
I see it says you can click on a button to see view classmates' responses.
Yes, you can toggle that on and off.
Okay.
So it becomes like a discussion post. If you want people to see what other people wrote after they typed it in, it can spawn some discussion, or you can turn that off in settings. Another setting that you can turn off is that, you know how you couldn't see the whole article until you answer the multiple choice question? You can turn that off too if you want them to be able to read the whole article and then go back and answer the 2 questions. So All right, so I can just click through and I can see the responses as well. It's very easy to grade.
So
I'm
Gina,
also-
this will go right into Schoology then, these grades?
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is you can turn another toggle on that they can go back in and edit on their own. So let's say they see, like in Ed Puzzle, they got a 2 out of 10 and they're sending you an email like, hey, I messed up on this question. Can I do it again? Well, you can toggle that on to give them as many chances as they want, and they can go back through and change their answer.
Okay.
So I'm just showing you the responses here for the multiple choice. It's on the right-hand side. So it said, Andy says, masks can stop the spread of germs just like your pants can. And you have options here, 0, incomplete, basic, proficient, advanced, or you can change the rubric to go give them 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. If you have feedback, you can type it in there. And there's also a preloaded bank of comments that you can preload yourself in the comments. I haven't done it yet, but I think it would be pretty helpful. All right. You can also allow discussion. Since it's auto saving up here, the grade would went right to my grade book. All right, questions about the readings, how the readings look. Is there anything? Anybody?
Gina,
Yeah, go ahead.
let's say that I found that first picture in this article offensive.
Okay, I actually, good.
Can
Here
it
you
be
go.
deleted?
Look, so you right click, or you double click. Oh, I'm not in my edit. So when I go to edit, yes, anything can be whited out. So if I don't like this question, I can right click on it and say white out, or I could enlarge it. There you go. All right, so you can completely change things. Even if you find something kind of inaccurate, or if you think a sentence is going to throw a kid off, you can highlight it and then white it out here. You can insert, I'm glad you asked that question, I can show you. You can insert a question anywhere you want. You can insert a note on the right anywhere you want. You can insert a link, or you can white out very easily by just clicking on it.
Is it possible to edit a word? Let's say, I know you defined words, but if you want it to be more clear,
I would have had to white that out. Yeah, no, you cannot. That's the only thing. Once the text is imported in, you can't change it.
okay, good to know.
There is an option to put it into, let's say I found this from a website, which I did. I could put it into a Word doc, change it the way I want, and then import it in. That's a little bit more work on your end. All right, if we're good with the assignment here of how the reading looks, I'll move on. I like it, right? It's pretty cool. So let's go back to your assignments, okay? And we'll look at the feet simulation next. Again, I'm gonna get into how to do all these and how to assign it. I just wanna show you how everything looks. All right, if you wanna go back to your assignments, so just click back and click on Energy Skate Park, Conservation of Energy Simulation. I'll show you what a feet simulation looks like. Is anyone else getting an error, or is it just me?
Yeah, it didn't open the whole way for me.
Yeah, same.
Same.
Try that one more time.
It's telling me the IP address can't be found.
Well, that's a bummer. I used it yesterday and it was fine. Perhaps Feet's, I'll show you that later then, but perhaps Feet's website's down because it did work yesterday. That's okay. I'll show you on the other end how to do that. There are 14 Feet simulations that they currently have imported into Actively Learn. They're going to put more in, but for right now, it's very nice. You get directions. It's just like doing an online lab, and you can customize it. You give it directions. You ask questions throughout it. They do something. Again, you have another question, and it's already preloaded in there. The questions are already preloaded too. So it's kind of limited how many are there, but if there is one that works, it will be wonderful to just import right into your class. And the last thing is that they have lab videos. They have videos as well. So if you want to, let's see if this one works, fingers crossed. You want to click on the general lab safety amoeba sister video. Oh, good, this one works. Okay. You'll see right away, it looks just like Edpuzzle. The only nicer thing is that I can see more data. I can see how much time you spent on this video. Again, I can let you edit your questions if I turn that on in my settings. So we don't really need to go through that. I just wanted to show you all of the different options for what you have here.
Gina,
Go ahead.
if you were to load is there a way to load an Edpuzzle video that you've already created questions for rather than having to redo all of that?
No, there's not. You can upload any YouTube video, but no, you can't import from Edpuzzle.
You
So-
could put your video on YouTube and then upload your video from YouTube.
Yes, you could do that for sure. But you can't take right from Edpuzzle to Actively Learn. Okay, let me go back to my presentation now that I showed you a little teaser of everything that this website can offer.
Let me ask you a question. You might know the answer, you might not.
Go ahead.
I have recently been trying to get into Edpuzzle to work with some of the videos that I created in the spring because we're using those units here in the fall.
Okay.
Edpuzzle is no longer district paid. It's reverted back to a basic version. Is this because of this new program?
I cannot be 100% certain, but I would say sure. I know that the district spent over $100,000 on this program, and they're really pushing it to put everything in here. But I mean, that would really be a question for Lynn. She would know 100%, but I could foresee that being the reason.
I already asked, but I haven't gotten an answer.
Yeah, that is frustrating. They did the same thing with Nearpod. Like I have all my stuff in Nearpod and then they stopped paying for it and it's like locked in there. I know that's frustrating.
So Joe, you're saying we can't use Edpuzzle now, or is it not with Schoology? Or?
I don't know about whether it will still automatically grade in Schoology. I just went in and was trying to create some new videos and the storage space is gone. I've used up more than I'm allowed.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so it'll still link with Schoology, but your storage space will be more limited. And that's the same thing with Nearpod. Like Nearpod still grades in it, but my storage space is all messed up.
Yeah, same frustrations with Nearpod. Anyway, sorry to get off track.
No worries. Yeah. Okay, so let's now create a class and then you can then import some things and look for content, okay? So you wanna go up to the top right-hand corner and exit student mode. All right, that'll get you back into your teacher view. You're then going to go over to the right-hand side and hit the plus button, and you're gonna create a class. Now, this can just be a practice class, example class. You can link to your sandbox, like I linked to my sandbox when I created my class. And why I did that is because I am now uploading some assignments, and whenever I take it into my regular class, they'll be there. So that is up to you.
Can you show how to do that?
Your thing. Yep, going right back.
Gina, do you just make one class that all 5 of your sections would go in together, or do you make 5 separate classes?
Well, that's going to be a little bit trickier this year. I usually, in a normal year, would have made one class and they would all be linked.
Mm-hmm.
But with the AB schedule, it's going to be a little bit trickier.
Okay.
So you have 2 options here. Okay, so when I did this, I did put an example here. So you're going to go over to the left-hand side and click on the plus arrow. And then you can import course from Schoology, or you can just type in example here. Completely up to you, or you could do both. So if you just type in example and then add the class, you'll now see that it shows up on the left-hand side. So our first unit of the year is, you can see here it's on weather. So whenever I was going through this training, I was looking up a lot of weather assignments. All right, anybody have an issue or problem with creating a class? Otherwise, I'm gonna move on.
So if we import the Schoology ones, once we have our kids in there, it would automatically upload them. Or whatever.
Exactly, yep, exactly.
And
But we can't do that yet.
Yeah, we can't do it.
It could upload to the sandbox. It would upload to the sandbox though, correct? If we linked it with that course?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you do the sandbox right now, it'll link with your sandbox. And then if you look at my sandbox, I have like 3 assignments in there that I know I'm going to use the first week of school. Okay, so you're going to become familiar with the pre-built instruction. I'll show you how to look for filters and then how to import your own content. Okay, so you kind of we just talked about it, but you saw how to sync with Schoology, and I have some warnings about this, so I'll go through this slide. All right, so when we get our Schoology rosters here in the next few weeks, you're going to click the plus arrow and then select import course from Schoology. You're going to select the class and the grade, and then you're going to go ahead and sync it pretty much like what you just saw. When you sync assignments with Schoology, you're going to click on the assign button, and I'll show you where that is in a second. It's down the right-hand corner of any article, and you just hit plus. You're going to click on the class you want to assign it to, and then choose whether you want the assignment to be automatically synced with your Schoology course, and then hit assign. There is a small button to hit that you want it to automatically grade, and that's the syncing button. Your assignments are synced and they should automatically appear in your Schoology. All right, now please note that this is a known flaw in the syncing of Schoology and Actively Learn. If you have multiple sections, so if you keep your A, B section separate, if not all of your courses are synced, when you assign your assignment to Schoology, it's going to show up in both your A and your B class. You're going to have to then go in and hide one of them so the kids don't think they have to go in and do it twice. This is due to Schoology, and this is something that they have asked about a month ago to fix, so maybe by the time we actually get into the school year, maybe it will be fixed. All right, so let me show you how to assign. All right, when you find an article that you like or a video, and here's how you find, you go to content up at the top, and you just want to go ahead and search. Over here on the left-hand side, there is a drop-down that says ELA, Science, or Social Studies. You obviously want to put it on Science, and this will kind of limit your search. So that's the first filter you'll want to put on. There's a few ways to go out searching. You can just do a basic Google-like search and fill out what you want to look for. Or you can kind of pare down with the units. So if you hit unit, it'll be 8th grade integrated science, biology, chemistry, physics. Another way to look for articles is through topic. And I actually use this a lot, the topic. You could go to biology, and then foundational skills is a great topic to look through too. How to analyze data, measurements, and scientific method. I just think it is a little bit of a better way to search than just in the box. It shows you everything. So if you didn't hit the right Google search or the right filter, this still shows you everything they have on that topic. So like scientific theories, that's a great one to talk about. So again, that was searching through topics. Eventually we'll have a district library. And I'll show you here that Julie Weigel over at EagleView, she started this. She started to put together an 8th grade science district library, and she did the weather unit. That is something they then stopped. They closed right now because they don't want lots of people to have access to that, and then it gets to be very messy. But that is something that you will find in the future, that there will be a district library there for you. And I think that's something that we'll work on one of our PD times together. And then you have this great link over here called My Imports. I'm going to click on that for you. All right, My Imports. You can add anything you want. It's not just limited to what they have in Actively Learn. So when you go to My Imports, you'll click on the Add Content in the drop-down. You can import from an internet article. You can, oh, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. Where was the My Imports?
Yep. So you're on the left-hand side, you click on Content. And then underneath the search bar, you have My Workspace, Curriculum Units, Topics, News Articles, District Library, and then the last one in orange is My Imports.
Thanks.
No worries. Okay, so now that we're in My Imports, the drop-down gives you all the options. Import from an internet article, like that one from the Discovery Magazine, is something I just saw on Facebook, and I wanted to link it because it was interactive. You can import from a Google Doc. So if you already have something in a Google Doc that you want them to read, You can upload a PDF. You could create a quiz, which I don't know why you would use that, quite honestly, whenever we have Schoology quizzes, or you could import a video. Now, the video library in Actively Learn is extremely limited, but again, it's like crowdsourcing. Every time someone else imports a video and links the questions, then they'll get more and more videos in there. For science, it is extremely limited with the videos. Social studies has a ton, but science is limited. So you're probably gonna have to import the videos. Once you import it, you'll see it's right here, and I'll click on the CK12 reading. I had already had this as a Google Doc. I had taken a bunch of CK12 readings on the atmosphere and put it together in one Google Doc for my kids to read. And again, it looks just like any other reading. You can add the questions where you want to. This is about the different layers of the atmosphere. Put the summary at the end. It goes in very, very nicely. Now, if you import a PDF, you can only put questions in at the end. You can't put the questions staggered throughout the article. All right, any questions about importing content?
Gina, for
Go ahead.
our readers who don't read well and might need it read to them,
Okay,
option like that in here?
yep, sure thing. You highlight the text and then I believe it hits, oh, I should know this. Okay, I think if you highlight, there is an option, Joe. I don't know that I know exactly where it is yet. It will read aloud to you. I should know this. Okay, I have to get back to that one. Let me think about that and let me go through my Rolodex in my head of how that happened. But there is the option. There's also an option to translate as well.
Both
Okay.
of those would be amazing.
And there is an option to search by Lexile level. Okay, so let's say we are looking for an article about hurricanes. All right, you can then look by grade level here. If you want a low level, if you have a kid who struggles or a kid with learning disabilities, you can look by Lexile levels as well. Although I think this is in here really for the reading teachers, but it would work for us as well.
How do you individually assign?
Okay, so that you can assign by groups, but you cannot individually assign.
So
So if
like
you
the
put-
class that has most of your learning support kids, you would maybe choose the lower Lexile or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so let's assign one. So, all right, let's say I like this article about hurricanes. Down in the right-hand corner, you see assign to class. You would hit the plus button. Okay, you would choose which class you want to assign it to. I'm going to choose my example, and I hit assign. All right, now that will then be in my Schoology class as well. When you click on the reading, you are now in the edit mode. So anything you want to white out, anything you want to change, you can. Right here where it says assign, sorry, that's the class that I want to assign it to. These are my notes. This is a CK12 reading, so we're quite familiar with the CK12s, and you'll notice they already have the questions already in there, which is amazing. You start off with a poll, so that's actually not graded. Have you ever experienced a hurricane? And then it says now that Ms. Petrozelli put these notes here. I didn't put those notes there. I just looked, that was the first time I ever looked at that article. CK12 put these in, but it makes it look like you did.
All the CK12 articles have this?
Yes,
Dude, that is sweet.
I know. That's, again, this is why I jumped on board with this. Again, I didn't put this question in. I had never even read this article. It's in here for you. And then actually after they answer it, they also can come with an explanation too. It's in there. So it tells them why they got it wrong and which paragraph they didn't read carefully. And then down at the bottom, they have their summary again. And sometimes they put a short answer question in and sometimes they don't.
So
You
Gina,
can go add your own too, right?
You can add your own. They also have usually a video on the bottom, just like the CK12. But again, right here's the button, white out the video if you don't want them to watch it.
do you would you recommend, you think, editing before and then assigning, or do you have to click assign, you have to click the plus
No, you can
And-
assign. You can assign right here too. I
Okay.
would edit and then assign. Just because sometimes CK12 has too much information,
Yeah.
and sometimes they get lengthy. It's just too much reading for the kids, so you can always white it out, and then I would hit assign this way.
I'm just asking, like, the way that the program works.
Either way,
Okay.
once you assign it, like I assigned that reading to you guys, and then I went in and edited it, and I added a little video on the side. That's the other nice thing. You can add video clips in for notes. So if you want to start by watching a hurricane over here, click anywhere and insert a link. The link can be a GIF, it could be a video, it could be anything, and it'll pop up here on the side.
When you click assign, does that automatically go into the gradebook for students to see? Or can you?
Okay, so I'll do that right now, and I'll show you on my sandbox. All right, so
Thanks.
cancel that. I'm going to assign it to my sandbox. And then if I want it to sync with my gradebook, I would click to sync to Schoology as well. If you don't click that button, it's not going to go in your gradebook. Okay, now I have it assigned, I'll show you my sandbox. Okay, here's the hurricane. You want to edit the assignment. And right now it'll come in and be assigned to all my sections. Here's where you would want to change the period to whatever section you want it assigned to if you don't want it assigned to everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, no worries.
And if you leave it as ungraded, then it just doesn't go in your gradebook at all. The kids
Right.
will see it, but there's, okay.
Like for the farting assignment, I'm not going to grade that first one. That's going to be the one on the second day of school that I just showed them how to use Actively Learn. So I won't click to sync to gradebook on that one.
That was going to be a question too. Like, these would be ideal for asynchronous days,
Oh yeah, for sure.
but probably teaching them how to use it would be something to do in class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
okay.
part of my plan, just because we assume that they know how to do this, and everyone's a little different with their content knowledge on technology.
But as
Okay.
a formative assessment, you can still go in and look at the data collection within
Right.
Actively Learn.
Yep, I'm going to show you that in a second. Sorry, I was a little off base there. Sorry, guys. I hope I'm not too all over the place. All right, so that is, again, I showed you how to search. You can use a search bar, themes, search by standards as well. There's curricular units already made up for you. The plus button's how you assign it. I showed you how to import. Oh, okay, I'll go back and show you how to add your own instructions. Okay, and I'll show you how to add co-teaching. That's nice too. I don't know if we're gonna have co-teachers this year, but you can share these assignments so easily. Like Linda and I work a lot together, okay? So we've been sharing assignments on here. Like I made that one and I shared it with her. It's very, very nice. So let's go to this one that I have made up, weather fronts. Again, to K-12. Do I wanna grade the short answers right now? No thanks. If I don't like these assignments, you can go ahead and click on it. That's the translate button. Sorry, I'm not in edit. So if there's ever a time that you click on it and you can't have options, you can click on you're probably not in the edit mode. So in the edit mode, when you click on anything, you can change it. So there's how I would change the instructions. Type through there. You see this extra help with text summary, extra help. Anywhere you see extra help, that is tailored for your IEP kids. And it's already in there with CK12 readings, but you will add that as well. So when you assign this to the students, you can click on their names and put if they need extra help or not. And that would be for like all of my 8th period IEP kids, I would click on that they would need the extra help in the reading. You just add more instructions.
Where is that? Where do you find that?
Yeah, I'm getting that. I'm getting there. Sorry. Okay, I'll show you how to share this assignment too before I get into the grades. Okay, from the edit screen, you have the share options in your left-hand corner, the little 2 people. You can add a co-author or you can send a copy to a colleague. All right, so that is very nice. The next one is to mark the assignment as a quiz. If you want that to be a quiz for some reason, you could change it to that. You can remove all questions and notes if you want to start fresh. You can also print this as well. Oops. For any kid who might need prints. All right, so that's everything from the edit screen up in the front, and then how you change directions. Okay, now let me show you what it looks like from the assignments. So here's the information that you see from the grades. All right, so right here, my grade book. Here's the data that I got from you guys. The grades right here. And then you'll notice from the skatebook, the feet simulation, they would have had grades there, and then the video would have grades as well. You also have the student data. So this is just for Jill. So Jill, for her grade and what she did, she's beyond proficient with her reading. Her reading pace, she went too fast though, okay? So they have an average of how many words were on the page and how quickly she should have went. And then words per response was too few. So her short response was not enough. This is something you could use with at conference time, okay? And this is the recommendations that they put in there. And you can just toggle through all your students. So Andy, again, you went too fast, buddy, okay? All right, class data, the same thing. It'll show you, no worries. It'll also show you your class data as well. Everyone was advanced, or maybe you gave a reading that was too hard and everyone got basic on it.
One quick question.
Go ahead.
As far as where is the standard for how fast people should be going and all that? Does it give like an amount of time if you wanted to click on an individual student?
Now, students who you might mark as needing help, I bet you, not positive, they would change the amount of time that they should take. So they have somehow predetermined that by some kind of algorithm, by the amount of words per article.
Based on an average?
Based on an average 8th grader. So whenever you put in your grade in there, or whatever grade you're at, that's how they computated that.
Okay.
I appreciate the idea that you could use this with parents, but if you can't tell them where the data is coming from or what the metric is being set by, it's not that helpful.
Yeah, well, they're just showing it based on an average 8th grader, or whatever grade level you are. So, I mean, I understand that too. It's a little wonky. All right, here's a few more. So from the assignment screen, here's your assignments settings now. Reading settings and small group settings. Select an assignment to customize the reading settings. So you will make some reading settings if, and I'll show you where that is too. If you click the customize reading settings, so here's where you get to change all of the things. If see classmates shared notes, like if you don't want them to see shared notes on the side, I think it's it's too much information sometimes. If I don't want to see all the notes, you can click that off. See classmates responses, again, you can uncheck that. See classmates names with their responses, again, you can uncheck that so you can just see their responses but not their names. Maybe you don't want the kids to respond at all, again, uncheck it. Questions require a response to continue reading. Now that I had that checked for you guys, if you didn't like that, if you wanted to see the whole article before you answered the question, you would uncheck it. See the correct model choice. Responses are locked until you allow revisions. Again, this is something that you could turn off if you want them to go in and be able to allow revisions until the due dates. Other things down here, enable notifications, enable language translation, enable word lookup, and text to speech. That is all things that you can enable or disable, but I would definitely leave all of these enabled. If you want to keep those settings throughout all of yours, you can click down here where it says apply settings to this assignment in all classes that you teach. So if you have it linked to multiple classes, you can do it once and it will then transfer to all of your articles. And where did I find that again? That was right here. I'm in the assignments, assignment settings, reading settings. All right, here's your small group settings. Choose the article. All right, and then here's where you will put them into groups. Okay, so you see how everybody in your roster, and you would then select groups to put them in, or you can assign groups randomly. So if you are doing something, let's say I always do a debate on GMOs. Now, if I wanted to randomly assign the groups and they had to read articles and then make a discussion post about it, this would be where to do that. Or if you want to do a small group reading for IEP kids, you could also put them in as well. Again, assignment settings, reading settings, small groups. The next ones in the assignment is to lock and unlock. Schedule locking, schedule unlocking. Now, why would you ever lock an assignment? This is a hard due date. And when you schedule the locking, you would click one and then you tell them when it is going to end. It will automatically, you can set it to automatically zero out everybody who has not responded by that day. Or you can lock out students, individual students at a certain time. So maybe I'm giving Jill 2 days to do the assignment, but I'm giving Gretchen 5 days to do the assignment. You can individually do that. Individually assigned to a student. Again, if I want to differentiate and individually assign, I know we're all rolling our eyes when we hear the word differentiate, but I mean, if you have something like this that you want to assign for just a few students, you can do it there as well. And then the manage, this is to like archive and unarchive. If you have something in there you don't want them to see, or maybe you want to use it for later, but again, you don't want them to see it, you can archive it. Okay, so they can't see it. All right, roster, this is where you see the extra helps. Okay, so again, if Andy needs a little bit extra help, I would click this button, and now in all of the articles, extra help will be popping up. Also, whenever you create a question, if it's a multiple choice, one of them will automatically be deleted for the kids with extra help. Right, and that is, you can turn that off at any time, or you can always add kids to that. All right, sure thing.
Can you go back to the one you were just on?
Sure, roster.
Why does Gretchen's have a edit pencil, but nobody else? Over in the right-hand side.
Man, why Gretchen is pretty
Her sign up is different. How she signed up.
yeah, you're brown too. And then when you signed in, you weren't linked. They might have given you some kind of like instructor privilege, Gretchen. Did Lynn maybe try to make you an instructor at one time for this?
That would be news to me.
Okay, well that would be my.
Maybe the rest of us signed in with our Google account and she used her email.
Oh, Gretchen, afterwards, I'm going to have to, yeah, Gretchen, afterwards, I'm going to need you to stick around and I'm going to show you how to resync because I don't know that you synced correctly, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you, whoever just picked up on that. Okay, let me go back to the course, and I think I went over everything. I think it's now your time to go ahead and search around, but let me just make sure I hit all the points. Data, yep, student data, vocabulary lookup. Oh, okay. In the teacher view in your grade book, they will also show you which word the students looked up. So if you are doing a read and you want to see what everyone looked up in the assignment, oh gosh, sorry. It will show you, I can just do it from here. It'll just show you all the words that they looked up, and then you can go ahead and talk that out as a group. So let's say under teacher view, the class data, a lot of people looked up catalysts. You can then talk about it. So 16 kids looked up the word remedial. You can go ahead and talk about that. So that would be under class data as well, but there's nothing in there because none of you looked up any words on that reading. Select student for extra help. I showed you where that is, and that is in assignment and then roster. And you just would check the kids who need the extra help. And then advanced features to explore on your own. All right, you can create a student library. This is like for like after a test, if you want them to go in and just read on their own, you could create a library of just things that you might find interesting, but you really don't want to grade. You would put that in your student library. Differentiate and duplicate. That was the different groups. I showed you how to do the different groups. So maybe you have one group that's a higher level. You would change the Lexile and assign that to group 1. You would change the Lexile lower to group 2, and then the lowest to group 3.
So that would be within a class. I would create a group. Boom, boom. Okay.
Yes.
And when you are looking at the article, if you change the Lexile, it will automatically change the text.
You would duplicate the article, and then whenever you hit edit, you would change the Lexile. So you would have 3 different articles and only assign one to group 1, the second one to group 2, the second one to 3.
There's a lot of cool stuff in here. I'm afraid I'm going to forget things.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I've used this and I was trained twice on this, and last night I was still Googling how to find videos through this. So it's a labyrinth of information in here, and it's just something as soon as you get in, it's easier to read. I mean, it's easier to figure out.
You know, are these Google Slides in the course?
They are, but I think I'll just send it to you guys. I'll probably share it with all of you because sometimes it's easier just to have it in your shared Google Drive. Small group settings I showed you about, and video instructions. And I didn't show you that, but I can. There is a Google add-on. I'm a huge fan of Google add-ons right now. I'm using it a lot. So if you are on a website and you want to add the Google add-on, you can then just click on it and it'll add it right into your imports. So if you go to Google add-ons and look for Actively Learn, they have a Google add-on in there. This is the instructor. If you have very advanced questions, she is from Actively Learn, and she's who trained us. You could always click to schedule a meeting with her. She was fantastic, really down to earth, wonderful. If you have advanced questions you would like to ask her. Or you could always ask Lynn too. All right, so what do we do now? Are there any questions for the good of the group? Because otherwise I'm going to show you, just give you time to go ahead and search and look around a little bit. Questions for the good of the group? All right, so let me show you one thing. How can you find videos? Now, if I just type in video up here, if I want to look for a video, oops, sorry. You can look for Actively Learn videos on topics. But again, I'm telling you, almost all of them are from social studies. All of these here that popped up are from social studies. So if you type in video and then drop down to science, it'll show you all the science videos. But again, there's not a lot there. The other thing that you want to play around with is this feat simulations for science. Since you couldn't see it, there are 14 of them. And I really enjoy the skateboard one. I don't know why it didn't show up. But here you go. It shows you here, it has the assignment directions. It tells them, go ahead and hit the introduction, learn about movement, and it tells you exactly what to do on each step of the way, and it will not let them move on until they correctly answer the question. It walks them through what to do in predictions and making hypotheses. And then again, it's just like an online lab. So I really enjoy those feat simulations. So you want to check those out as well and see if any of those will apply to your curriculum. So those are 2 things that I would look at. Look at the articles that you might look for, but also look for the videos that they do have already in there and look for those feat simulations. All right, so I can break you down into breakout rooms if like Kendra and Jill and Gretchen, if you want to go into a breakout room together so you can kind of look together and discuss, I can do that for you. And after you search for a little bit, if you come back and say, hey, how do you do this again? I can go over anything you want. But we're going to take about 15, 20 minutes to kind of just peruse what they offer. All right. Would anyone like to be added to a breakout room together?
That's fine. I think it's just over. I mean, I just kind of like to
You just want to look?
how much I'd really add to a conversation. At this point, I'd probably just be looking at the screen.
Okay, so I'm just gonna let you search, okay? See what they have in there. For science, we got very lucky that we already were using CK12. So check out all those resources and see what's there. All right, I'll bring us back together at 11:15. I went through this training a little fast. So I'll give you 15 minutes to just look around, and if you have questions to then come back. At any time, you can just leave your mic open and ask me questions, and I can kind of walk you through it. You can share your screen with me if you have specific questions.
Gina, do you want to show me how to log in
Yep.
correctly, or what's the fault in logging in with your email?
Everything doesn't sync correctly.
Okay.
So. All right, so right now, Gretchen, go into your Actively Learn and log out. Mo, if you could probably go into Actively Learn with just your regular Gmail without your CV schools if you want to look around.
Okay, so I am out. I'm in my sandbox.
Can you share yours with me? Can you share your screen with me? Do you know? Do you have the option from your end?
Hold on here. No, I don't. Oh wait, yeah, I do.
Okay, cool.
Can you see it?
Oh yeah, awesome, awesome. Okay, go down the left-hand side of your course. Keep on scrolling down a little bit. And click on Actively Learn.
Okay. Then click on the box.
Yeah, go ahead and click on that box. Okay, we have to keep working until that GP and brown, it's blue, okay? Go hit back, open up a tab, and just go to the Actively Learn website.
It's not giving me an option to go back.
Okay, just open up a new tab.
Okay.
Just,
And I'm just going to type in Actively Learn by myself.
okay, do me one more favor while you're here.
Okay.
On your picture in the right-hand corner, let's log out of your Google Drive. Nope, go back to that tab that you were at. Just log out of your Google Drive.
But I was
Yep.
signed in as my home one. That might be why.
Oh, that might be it. So just log out, go down, scroll down to the very bottom, sign out of all accounts. Okay, go back to your Schoology page. Okay, refresh it. Now let's go down to Actively Learn again and see what happens. No, I don't want you to. Click on that and see what happens if it's still brown. Okay.
Should I click on maybe 7?
Close that tab. Close any Actively Learn tabs you have open.
Okay, I think they're all closed.
Okay, go to your Gmail or go to your Google sign-in. Okay, let's make sure you're signed into your CV schools. All right, let's go back to Schoology, refresh the page. All right, let's try that again with the Actively Learn link. Oh. All right, this one might be above my pay grade, Gretchen.
Has been something maybe with clever or no? I mean, it has nothing to do with this one.
No, it's. I'm trying to think. How can you All right, go to the right-hand corner where it says Brown GP Gretchen. Click on that. Go to my profile and let's see if it's linked with your. Oh, it is linked.
Should I delete it? And
No. I don't know. That would make me very nervous. Don't delete it. Maybe you are okay. I don't see like your grades were going in whenever you were in my class. It's maybe it is okay. Maybe you just have administrator rights to this.
I don't want them.
Okay, well, from the standpoint of how I was trained, everything's fine for you right now.
Maybe you have it because you're like our person, you know, that Mike communicates with.
Are you the curriculum chair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that might be it because the curriculum chairs are going to be given ability to add to the district library.
Okay.
So
Okay.
maybe we just did all of that for nothing.
Yeah.
But now everybody, now you know if you are logged into your home Gmail or somebody else's Gmail, that's what you need to go through to unlink it.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go play.
Okay. Anybody running into any trouble, go ahead and let me know.
Are we going to breakout rooms or no?
No one, do you want to? I can put you in any ones you want.
Joel, Gretchen, do you guys want to collab?
I'm with Gretchen. I think I just have way too much stuff to process. I'm not sure I would be very helpful at all in talking about stuff.
Are you looking for like content that we could use maybe first week of school, or are you just kind of playing around?
I would just play around and look for things that, just see how the system works.
Yeah, I'm just trying to wrap my head around what's all on here, and then maybe later in the week I'll try to attack the first week of school.
I would maybe go and try to assign one to your example class or your sandbox just to see how it works. And especially since I'm here, I can help you and you can share your screen with me if you run into trouble.
Gina, what's the best way to search for those CK12 articles to find those? Like, are you typing in CK12 or what do you type?
No, I mean, mostly anything science shows up your CK12. It might be best to search by topic. If you go to the search bar underneath it in green, it says topic. And then look for whatever topic you're looking for.
And CK12 is just in there?
Yeah, almost all of the articles are from CK12 I found.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd be hard up to find an article in there that's not CK12. Actively Learn linked with CK12 for almost all of their science things. Unless you do find one, if you find something that's not CK12, let me know.
Gretchen and Jill, when do you think would be an appropriate time to introduce this? Probably not even the first week or two of school.
It's hard to say because we're really only seeing them in person.
Yeah.
So it might not actually happen probably till week 3 if we get there.
Yeah, right.
Knock on wood.
This really feels like something that would be best done face-to-face, especially new devices and new to Schoology and things like that. And I can't see doing that the first week, maybe not even the second week, because you're supposed to focus on get to know you, and they're going to have to learn how to use the devices and everything else. And we lose one of our live sessions with the A group in the second week.
Yeah.
I might recommend, I know I'm doing a lot of my tech training, like this is going into our SOAR lessons. So I don't, sixth grade is a whole different beast. I know you have to like teach them so much, but if you have some time to teach tech in SOAR, it might be a good way to put it in there too. Because
I do not think you're going to lose your Monday in the next week. Dr. Christopher was talking about having it Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday. And just having, instead of having off Wednesday, have our classes.
That's interesting considering what Mike told us.
I know, but I heard it after the fact from Dr. Christopher. So
That'd actually be kind of nice.
yeah, so you probably will have your 2 days that week. We'll just lose the middle day in that week.
That's interesting because it's going to be challenging for families to make adjustments, transportation, and if he doesn't tell them with enough time.
Well, I think that's the plan once he releases everything, but he couldn't release any of the information until the board approved the contract or approved the new schedule.
Hey, Heather, do you want to go into a breakout room and I'll show you how to sync, or do you already have yours synced?
I did sync mine.
Okay.
And mine came up the same way Gretchen's did with that little blue box when I went in and synced it. So I'm not sure if that's something new or different.
Did it ask you to choose your school?
Nope.
Did
It linked it with my Schoology.
Okay, well, it should link it with your Schoology, but it usually asks you to choose your school and then approve.
Oh, I did do that. I chose Mountain View and stuff.
If you did that, then you're fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine.
No, I did those things.
Okay.
No, it came up, and mine came up with science stuff. When you chose your subjects, did you choose other subjects?
Not, you mean in the search bar window?
Yeah, like, or when I put my subjects in, I just chose science, and I got all kinds of science articles pop up.
Right, right. Whenever you choose science, that's what should have happened.
I didn't, yeah, I didn't have the, because you were saying a lot of the social studies ones have been showing up if you just put
Video. Yeah, it's,
video in.
that's the only way I get my social studies stuff to show up is if I type in videos.
Video.
Yeah.
Are we going to use, do you want to continue, like, I know you guys have been emailing me about those interactive notebooks. Is that what we're going to try to do?
Yeah.
And I think, especially since he doesn't want us to print anything, we might as well do the interactive notebooks.
Right, and we're gonna lace these into the interactive notebooks. So
Okay.
let's say I have a video, like for example, that Amoeba Sisters lab safety one,
Yeah.
we have it in the notebook anyways already for the next unit.
Okay.
We'll just put it as a preview there, but they are gonna have to do the assignment to show that they actually watch the video, and then it also will grade it automatically for us.
Okay. Yeah, because I know when, because I used the video one before this summer a lot with the questions and stuff already linked in it. So I did that this summer. Sorry,
Perfect.
my dog.
No, that's okay. Normally my kids would be in the background. I went and dropped them off somewhere else today.
Gina, could you review how to find the different Lexile levels?
Sure. I have not used that a lot, but yeah, absolutely. Okay, so give me something that you're searching up, Kendra.
I'm looking at why reading in science is different than other subjects.
Okay, cool. So right now you can see that the Lexile level is 1,220. Now that one might not be one that could be changed. I think you just want to search for the Lexile levels instead of just changing the Lexile levels on some of them. So if you want to search for one that's lower, then it will show you the ones that have the lower Lexile levels. I don't know that with all of them that you can change the Lexile level.
So not every article has a different level.
But they all have a different, they are all been leveled, but they don't all cannot be changed. Like Newsella, I think that's the way I say it, or I think it's Newsella, they could change the Lexile levels on every article. I don't know that they can do that on this one.
Gotcha.
You can just search by Lexile levels.
Okay. Thanks.
Gina, when you
Maybe noon?
you there,
Yeah.
Gina?
Yep, you go ahead, Andy.
Oh,
When you find the article you want to put in your Schoology for them to do, like a CK12 or whatever, how'd you get that link to show up in Schoology?
Okay, so if I'm in my sandbox, you see these links here? This-
Well, you have to share your screen there.
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So you're talking about like, here's my sandbox and I've been putting things in my sandbox. How did these things are showing up here?
Yeah, or how'd you get those in there?
Okay, so let's say I want to assign this scientific method. I hit assign to class, and then I choose my sandbox. And then the box underneath it to sync to Schoology, this has to be checked as well.
Okay.
And then assign. And right now, obviously, the only one that you can assign to is to your sandbox. Do you want to share your screen if you're struggling with it? Let me know.
Then it just shows up in your sandbox then?
It just shows up in my sandbox down at the bottom on the main page. So just refresh your sandbox if you had the tabs open. Like that one just showed up for me.
All right, let me try it. Let me play around here a little bit.
Okay, if it doesn't, let me know.
All right.
Just share your screen with me and we'll walk through it.
Gina,
Go ahead.
as I'm looking through videos and articles, I'm seeing a lot of stuff that looks like, oh, I want to be able to find that again. If I assign it, technically assign it to a class, does it show up? I mean,
Assign it, but don't sync it to Schoology. So if you assign it and don't sync it to Schoology, it'll just show up in the My Assignments and Actively Learn
within that course.
within that course. So if you assign it and don't sync it to Schoology, it won't pop up right here.
Yep,
Only be, you see these classes over here?
yep.
Only be right here. So none of these did I assign to Schoology. So all of these right here are not in my sandbox at all.
They're just waiting for you to decide what you want to do with them.
Exactly.
If you
And-
want to take it out of the class,
Okay, let's say I don't want this one in the class. You have a few options and it's under manage. I could archive it. I could unarchive, or I could just unassign it. That global wind belt reading was horrible. So if I just want to unassign it, I click on unassign and then there's a big X that shows up and I hit next to remove it. And now it doesn't show up at all in there.
got it. And what you just went through with Andy was how you would sync it to Schoology.
Right.
Good, thanks.
Yep.
this is way easier to do like Edpuzzle type videos from YouTube than actual Edpuzzle.
Yeah, I think so too. It's very user friendly. I mean, there's a lot there. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, oh, the easiest thing to figure out in the world. There's a lot of button pushing, but it is user friendly.
Guess I wasted my time with that hour Edpuzzle training.
Oh, I feel that too.
Gina,
Go ahead.
so I found an article about like what age kids should use or get cell phones, and I was going to use that maybe as my intro to teach them how to use Actively Learn.
Absolutely.
And so I assigned it, and I see it pops up on the grade book, which I can change to like be a 0 or no grade. So how will the kids, like it doesn't pop up on the calendar or anything, like how will the kids actually see this when I say, okay, where's your assignment?
Okay, so do you want to share your screen and I'll walk you through it? Yeah.
Gretchen, what's the name of the video you're liking?
It was one that just popped up. I can show you in a second. I'm not sure here.
Okay, so go to your Schoology, Gretchen.
Sorry.
No worries.
All right.
Scroll down to the bottom. Okay.
No, it's just
Okay.
okay.
Okay, so now hit the gear button on the right-hand side. Edit. And now when you put that due date in there, Gretchen, it'll show up on the calendar.
Okay, so just because there wasn't a date assigned. So technically I could assign a whole bunch of stuff in there and the kids won't see it or will see it?
That's a great question. I would think they will see it.
Probably. If
Yeah.
I could see it on underneath materials in the folders, probably they can see it, just won't be assigned yet.
Right. So the way to do that then, Gretchen, would be to unpublish it. So back to the gear and then the drop down to, so close out of that gear and then unpublish, and it'll be like gray, that it'll be there, but they can't see it.
Okay, awesome. And then I can play around with it. Once it's ready, I can pick a date and assign.
Right. And whenever these assignments pop up into your Schoology, you can drag them into the specific folder. So if you want them to do this on Monday, drag it into the Monday folder, and then they would know where to go to find it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And if you have it in those folders that aren't published yet, they won't be able to see it either. So like if your Tuesday or Wednesday folder isn't published yet, they're not going to see it. But it will show, it should show up on your calendar. So if you go to your calendar, it may still be there because you have it as an assignment. So just because it shows up in your calendar doesn't mean it'll be in their calendar either.
Hopefully, I know your head might be spinning, but hopefully you're feeling like you have a little bit more of an understanding of this than just going into it blind.
Well, if he just has to do 8th grade, it might be a little bit easier.
Say that one more time.
If he's just doing the 8th grade, it'll make it a little bit easier.
Right, exactly.
Gina, do you know when you made the change in your roster for the kids to get extra help,
Yes.
do you have to do that for each assignment, or once you make that change?
Once you make the change, that's for the rest of the year.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah. So again, if you missed that or you're like, where was that again? It's under, up at the top in the grade, it's under roster.
I love that. That's
And then
awesome.
choose the class and then just click on extra help. Okay, that's how easy it is. And if you're choosing a CK12 assignment reading, you honestly don't even have to do anything else. They already have the extra help in there. All right, now I said this is training supposed to go to until noon, but it doesn't have to be. You're gonna spend time on your own searching through this. You're gonna spend time on your own just troubleshooting. So the last half hour, you don't have to be here on here with me. If you want to, you absolutely can. I can be here to help you in any way that you need me to, but you don't have to sit here and Google with me. So let me just remind you before we kind of wrap things up or people start to leave, the evaluation link was the first thing that I put in the chat. I'm going to drop it in there again. All right, that's how you get your 2 hours of PD time, by filling out the link. If you have any criticism of me, I have thick skin, so if you think I went too fast, let me know, because I